What's up, fam? This is your boy ELJEFE, and we are here to do a showdown between 3 of the top true wireless earbuds that are on the market right now. So we're talking about the One More True Wireless ANC versus the Sony WF-1000XM3 versus the Soundcore Liberty 2 Pro. Now, if you're interested in any of these 3 earbuds, I'll be leaving links to all of them in the description box right down below, so make sure you check those out to get the latest pricing. As far as the One Mores go, if you use code ELJEFE on the One More USA website, you get 20% off your full order. So that definitely brings the price down on these earbuds if you're interested in picking them up. Now, before we go any further, and for full disclosure, the One More True Wireless ANC were sent to me by One More for my honest opinion and review. For the Sonys and for the Soundcores, I went ahead and bought those myself with my own money for the purposes of these reviews and comparison videos. Now, if this is your first time here and you're not familiar with the way that I do things on this channel, whether I go out and buy the products myself or if a company sends them over to me for review, always gonna keep it 100% real with you, let you know whether or not it's worth your hard-earned money. So if you like what you heard so far, hit that subscribe button along with that small notification bell. This way you never miss any of my weekly True Wireless earbud, headphone, and in-ear monitor reviews. So now, with all of that out of the way, let's jump into this showdown. So first things first, let's talk about the things that they all do well equally. So connectivity. They're all running Bluetooth 5.0. They've all got dual connect where you can use them independently of each other. They all have 0 to almost no latency when watching videos on different apps and stuff, so there's no problems there. All 3 of these are also compatible with all the iOS devices, all the Android devices, so there's no problems as far as that's concerned. So first things first, let's talk about comfort. Now, comfort is highly subjective, and this is just going to be based on my own ears and the way that they're shaped. So for comfort, in the number 1 spot for me is going to be the One More True Wireless ANC. Number 2 is going to be the Soundcore Liberty 2 Pro, and number 3 is going to be the Sony 1000XM3s. So as far as the One Mores, super comfortable. The way that they're designed, very ergonomic. The way that the ear tips are shaped, almost like a little bit of an oval shape, fits in my ears perfectly. They give you a ton of different sizes as far as the little ear hooks go, and those things sit right inside your ear, holds them nice and tight in place, and they don't slip, they don't fall out, and they don't get uncomfortable in my ears. I don't get any weird pain or fatigue, even after 3 or 4 hours worth of use. And then the Liberty 2 Pros, very similar as far as design goes. With them, somewhere right around the 3-hour mark is when I start really noticing them, and I got to pull them out of my ears. But I think that's something more to do with the sound than it is to do with their physical shape, but they're still very comfortable and I can wear them for long sessions. But that's why they took the number 2 spot. As far as the Sonys go, very similar once again in design, but the reason that they take the number 3 spot is out of these 3, they were the only ones to actually cause me physical pain after about 2.5 hours worth of watching some videos and movies. So that was very noticeable. I took notice in that because I'm pretty blessed as far as my ears go. I don't get very much discomfort when I wear earbuds or headphones, but I did notice it after about 2 hours that I was getting some pain in the cartilage on the back of my ear here. So that's due to the shape of my ears, obviously, and also the shape of the earbuds themselves. They have a really thick section right where they sit there, but that's the reason that they take the number 3 spot. They actually caused me physical pain after about 2.5 hours. So that's why. Next up, let's talk about the microphones and the call quality. So for this, in the number 1 spot, I've got the Sonys. In the number 2, I've got the One More. And in the number 3, we've got the Liberty 2 Pros. Let me play you some call quality samples, and this way you can hear exactly what I'm talking about. We have the call quality test for the Anker Liberty 2 Pro. So calls come in fairly clear on these. Not the best that I've ever heard, but let's compare these against the Sony and the One More True Wireless ANC. Now here we have the call quality test for the One More True Wireless ANC. So as you can hear, it's actually pretty good. But just like I said before, it's not a very noisy environment. I'm just sitting inside my apartment at this time. But as always, you be the judge. You let me know what you think of the call quality against the Sony XM3s and the Liberty 2 Pros. All right, so here we have the call quality test for the Sony WF-1000XM3. Obviously, I'm indoors, and there isn't a bunch of noise going on in my apartment at this time. But this is just to give you an idea of what these sound like, and the microphone quality on these is actually pretty good. But as always, you got to be the judge. Now, as you can hear, the Sonys actually picked up bass in my voice, which I was really surprised by. With the One Mores, it's actually pretty good. It's not too bad. And then with the Liberty 2 Pros, well, microphones are just not their strong suit. So there we have it. And that's why these got the 1, 2, and 3 spots. Now, next up, let's move on to the battery life. Now, the battery life, as far as the number one spot, it's gonna go to the Liberty 2 Pros, but there is a big but, a huge asterisk on their win here, and that's the fact that they don't have active noise cancellation. And as we all know, active noise cancellation can drain battery on headphones and True Wireless earbuds. So the fact that they don't have this feature means that they can run long because they're just doing passive playback. So playback time on the Liberty 2 Pros is a little bit over 9 hours on a single charge, which is excellent, excellent battery life. But like I said, with that caveat, they don't have active noise cancellation. So you should keep that in mind. As far as the ones that do have noise cancellation, which is the Sonys and the One Mores, battery life on the Sonys, I got 5 hours, 45 minutes, putting them in the number 2 spot. And the One Mores, I got 3 hours and 55 minutes. That puts them in the number 3 spot. Now, all three of these earbuds feature fast charging where you can drop them back in their case for about 10 minutes and they'll give you anywhere from 1 to 3 hours extra worth of playback time. So they do have that in common. As far as Liberty 2 Pros and the One Mores, they also feature Qi wireless charging where the Sonys don't. But that's just something I wanted to make sure you were aware of it. But like I said, number 1 with an asterisk, Liberty 2 Pros, number 2, the Sonys, and number 3, the One More True Wireless ANC. Now, next up, while we're on the topic of active noise cancellation, let's talk about that. So active noise cancellation, this is going to be a battle between the Sonys and the One Mores because the Liberty 2 Pros, since they don't have noise cancellation, it's an automatic L for them. So in the number 1 spot, now this is close, this is almost too close to tell, is going to be the Sonys, followed closely by the One Mores. Now, the way I tested this, I basically put them both in their maximum noise cancellation mode. I went into my office at work, which has a ton of machinery inside there, and I tried to listen to which one blocked out more of the noise. We're talking by a margin, just the tiniest of margins, the Sonys have a stronger and deeper active noise cancellation, just by the tiniest bit. Now, I don't know if that has to do with a combination of the active and the passive noise cancellation, not 100% sure, but they do take the win here. It's just not by much. You know, these One Mores are so close to it that probably for most people, the difference would be negligible. But I have to give credit where credit is due, and the Sonys do take the title, and they still hold the title for the top dog for active noise cancellation in True Wireless earbuds, just by a hair. Now, let's move on to the meat and potatoes of this video. Let's talk about the volume, and then we'll get into the sound quality. So first up, the volume. Number 1 spot for volume, it's going to be the Soundcore Liberty 2 Pros. These get very loud. Like, you start getting above 80% and you're starting to get into damaging your hearing territory. They get seriously loud. So if you really are a volume junkie or somebody who is hard of hearing who needs that extra bit of volume headroom to enjoy their music, the Soundcores are going to have you covered. And then in the number 2 spot, you've got the One More True Wireless ANC. They get plenty loud, plenty of overhead. For me, anything above 80-85% is a bit too much, but the beauty of it is they don't distort or anything weird when you get into the higher volume levels, which is really nice. So, but there's plenty of volume. You've got plenty of headroom if you get any quiet dialogue or anything like that. The One Mores definitely have you covered. They're just not quite as loud as the Soundcore Liberty 2 Pros. In the number 3 spot, you've got the Sonys, and the Sonys, they do have good volume. They're just not quite as loud as the One Mores. Now, they're not as far behind. It's almost like the Sonys get to maybe around 90% of what the One Mores can do, and then the One Mores get maybe to around 80% of what the Soundcores can do. So they're not too far off from each other, but it is a noticeable difference. So volume, Liberty 2 Pro in number 1. For number 2 spot, you've got the One Mores, and the number 3, you've got Sony. And then sound quality. So in the sound quality department, for me, number 1 is going to be the One More True Wireless ANC, followed by the Sonys in the number 2 spot, and then the Liberty 2 Pros in the number 3 spot. Now, before you start freaking out in the comment section, let me explain to you why I make this assessment and why I'm telling you that the One More True Wireless ANC are the number 1. The tuning. The sound tuning on the One More True Wireless is exquisite to my ears. It is amazing. You've got this awesome bass, the way that it sounds, the way that it hits, just got this perfect punch to it. The mid-range, the vocals, everything comes in so clear and so nice and so rich. It's a very warm sound and I absolutely love it. And then you've got the treble, where these aren't the brightest of earbuds out there. They've got enough treble and enough detail without being harsh or sibilant, where it gets fatiguing to your ear. It's like they give you just the right amount and then they stop it before it's going to become painful. So that level of tuning, that attention to detail is the main reason why these are my number ones. And the number two spot, you've got the Sonys, which are also have an excellent tune to them. They're just not as clear or as bright as the One More. So they just don't have this level of detail that I was expecting out of them. But here's the thing, they still sound amazing. And you could definitely pull more detail out of them with the EQ if you want to. But just straight out of the box, head to head, the One Mores definitely sound better to my ears than the Sony WF-1000XM3s. And then you've got the Liberty 2 Pros that are in the number 3 spot. Liberty 2 Pros bring a lot to the table, and they are an incredibly versatile set of true wireless earbuds, especially with all the different EQ adjustments and all the different tuning abilities and all of that. But straight out of the box, when you go signature sound versus the 2 stock sounds on the Sony and the One Mores that just don't have any EQ settings, the Liberty 2 Pros can be a bit too bright. And by that I mean is that sometimes the treble on them can be a bit too harsh, and it can just get a little too shouty for some people, where it can be almost fatiguing to your ear. They also have super incredibly deep bass, but in the signature tune, that bass tends to bleed through the mids at certain points, and on certain songs, it just rolls right through everything. Now, they do sound amazing, but when compared to these two, they just aren't quite there. Now, mind you, with a lot of adjustments in EQ and different changes and things, you can make them sound amazing. But the way that I'm testing these, just to explain it, is basically with no EQ adjustments at all. Basically, the way that you would pull these earbuds out of the box and put them in your ears and hit play on your music, this is the way that I'm listening to them. So with the One Mores, there's no EQ adjustment, so I just left them alone. With the Sonys, I just left them in the off position in their EQ app, so there's no adjustment made. And then the Liberty 2 Pros, they're just set to their standard signature setting. So that's basically how I did this test. And that's how we came, number 1 being the One Mores, number 2 being the Sonys, number 3 being the Liberty 2 Pros. Now, let me give you this disclaimer here. Because if I'm saying something is number 3 and something is number 1, it doesn't mean that number 1, wow, they're good, and number 3 means they're terrible. It's not. We're talking about great, better, and good. We're talking about just different, varying degrees of really good. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's nothing bad about any of these 3 earbuds. They're all awesome. You pick any of these 3 and you are gonna be happy. They're all an excellent choice. But for me personally, on a personal level, which one am I gonna choose out of these 3 to be my clear winner overall after everything we've said here? I'm going with the One More True Wireless ANC. The combination of sound quality and sound tuning plus active noise cancellation that is just this close to the Sonys, plus the comfort of them. I have to roll with the One Mores out of these 3. But that's just me. Whether you agree, disagree, let me know down in the comment section. If you have any questions about any of these 3 earbuds, let me know down there as well, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And if you like this video, go ahead and smash the like button. If you didn't like this video, go ahead and hit the dislike button. There's always 1 or 2 of you out there, and I don't want you feeling left out. And if you haven't done so already, consider joining the fam. Hit that subscribe button along with that small notification bell, and this way you never miss any of my weekly videos. So with all that said, I hope I brought you some good value today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have an awesome week, and I will see you in the next video.